one of the very first people that we're going to be talking to right now is Mr. Steve Axe, who is global CMO of the world's largest frozen food company, Nomad Foods. And I'm looking forward to Steve talking us through stick or twist. 3 ways to emerge stronger, faster, because I think everyone here and watching today is going to be thinking about what do we do next to win, to be successful, and to be optimistic. Over to Steve.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everybody. I've got the post-lunchtime shift, but as I'm in frozen food, you've all had your fish finger sandwiches. I'm sure you're in good shape. So 2020, what a year. Trump is almost gone, so it's not all bad. And we obviously had the vaccine news, so there's light at the end of the tunnel. So it feels like we're even within change, there's change within change. And in this world of kind of uncertainty and almost constant change, I've reflected on, as marketeers, should we stick with what we've done in the past, or should we twist on some of the key questions we should ask ourselves? And so I've just got a bit of provocation around 3 ways I believe we can emerge stronger and faster out of this pandemic. So as CMO of Nomad Foods, that's a brand you will know and love will be Birdseye, which is part of Nomad. So I always like to ask Clarence Birdseye what he would say when asked this type of question. He was an incredible pioneer. So, almost 100 years ago, he invented flash freezing, so basically the frozen food industry, but he also invented the freezers. So it's almost as if he invented moving pictures and the TV, that it played on. So quite an incredible man. And this is one of his more famous quotes. So just because something has always been done in a certain way is never a sufficient reason for continuing to do it that way. Quite the contrary. So that's the question, I like to ask myself every day, and particularly at the moment, and summarize it as, should I stick or should I twist? So the first area I want to talk about is innovation. And, as all marketeers want to be, a marketing department, they want to be famous. So this would normally say, go big or go home. I want to be the guy who's famous for developing, the next Halo top, in ice cream, or even, creating categories like Red Bull, has done in carbonated drinks, or for those who are a little bit older in FMCG, before Pantene, there wasn't really branded premium hair care in the grocery aisle. It just didn't exist. It was just private label. And then in terms of packaging, Muller yogurt and Heinz. So you've got some incredible, powerful innovations that have step changed, company and brands' performance. So going big, we all want those on our CV. So the question is, in the pandemic, with all of the social and economic upheaval that we're all going through, should we continue to strive to go big? So here's a couple of stats for us to kind of guide us to begin with. So first of all, 68% of people are concerned that COVID-19 is a risk, clearly, but that's almost exactly the same amount of people who are still interested in buying new products. And almost a third are still interested in buying new products now more than ever. So, regardless of what's going out there, the stats would say, kind of innovate. It's time to innovate. Now, I'm clearly not going to say don't go big if you haven't got something big in your lap. The danger is that it's highly risky, and we all know 90% of innovation there or thereabouts in lots of the industries we work in fail. There's only a 10% success rate. So how do you decide whether you've got something big? Is it not quite big enough yet? And that's the dilemma, I think, when you ask, should I stick or twist? What if I just add that COVID insight, that I can just change that consumer perception from I might try it to it's always going to be in my shopping basket? What if I just spent more money on media? What if I could just get that extra distribution? What if I could just get the retailers to support me a little bit more? Lots of what ifs to turn those ideas into what you believe could be a big idea. My provocation is, you can't put a pig on a lipstick. Pig on a lipstick, lipstick on a pig. If it's a dog, if it looks like a dog, barks like a dog, it's a dog. So, let's not pretend that the idea you've got in front of you with all the will in the world is suddenly going to become this huge icon of the category like a Pantene or a Halo top, because it probably isn't. So the question is, if you can't put lipstick on a pig, what do you do? And that's where, for me, it's a bit of a twist, which is, go close. And these are a couple of examples for me, not mine. I mean, I'm not. I'm going to use other people's examples because I think there's some fantastic ones out there where you've just gone a little bit further away from your core business, but it's so intuitive for your consumers and your buyers. They already know and love your products. You're just giving them that little bit extra. And with that little bit extra, you're going to get in the shopping basket. And, based on the Nielsen data, these are the two of the biggest innovations over the last 12, 18 months in the country. And they're not rocket science. It doesn't have to be that next big thing. This is what these guys do every day. They make crisp, they make chips. And they've just found a way of communicating that and innovating in a space that's just a little bit closer than maybe they would have done in the past. So my provocation is, when it comes to innovation, either go big or go close. Next question for me, the second question is around, what should we do in this pandemic world around our mantra of, the religion that is Byron Sharp around how brands grow. We all know the leaky bucket. We all know we should fill the leaky bucket up. We all know it's all about penetration. But what if you're in a category that's suddenly seen a generational shift in consumption during this pandemic? I'm fortunately in one of those, in frozen food. So we've seen our business grow significantly as restaurants close, as schools close, as people are working from home. So we've seen a real spike in our business and our penetration. So the question I've got for myself as a marketeer and for those who are in similar situations is it still all about penetration, or actually does the loyalty word come out of the cupboard, out of the drawer? And should we be talking about penetration? Should we try and retain the consumers that we've gained in the last few weeks and months? An amazing statistic from certainly our business is we gained an estimated 3 years of incremental penetration in 3 months, the first 3 months of the pandemic. First of all, from panic buying, and then from increasing consumption. So suddenly we've got people who are either buying into frozen for the first time or buying more of it than they've ever done in the past. And people that it would have been very hard for us to try and recruit in the first place. Younger professionals or older households, beyond that classic young family target for frozen food, we were suddenly getting all these new consumers. So the question is, how can we keep them? Is there a more effective and efficient way of keeping consumers that you've gained and we've gained? And particularly if they've had some systemic shifts in their house. So physically, people have more freezers now. And also if they've experienced your category in a very positive way they weren't expecting. So a lot of people are buying frozen. This is an article from the Times, and gone, wow, that's so much better than I thought it would be. I'm really enjoying that. I'll go buy it again. So what we've seen in the last 4 months, we've seen our retention rates over double in the last 4 months. And so we are doubling down on continuing to talk to those people in a way we wouldn't have considered before. We would have very much, as many of us have done in the last kind of 10 years since Byron Sharp smashed onto the screen around, it's all about penetration is king. But now, for the first time, we have the data, we have the technology, but the ROI has always been the challenge, certainly for a mainstream business like frozen food and Bird's Eye. Now, we can suddenly identify those consumers, from our websites and from our e-retailers and from our search engines. We can personalize the message. We can do that. Many of us can do that. And we can prompt them for the online or offline purchase. And suddenly that ecosystem, for a pack of fish fingers suddenly becomes very attractive. So talking to these people, nudging them with that little bit of extra nudge to go and repeat buy is suddenly a much more attractive proposition than just trying to refill the leaky bucket. So my question is, if you're in a situation where your category has seen a generational shift of consumption, what would you do differently than just following the penetration is king mantra? We're estimating an incremental 1% total growth on our business by just increasing that penetration and nudging it up. So the people that we've gained, how can we keep them? And if we keep them a little bit longer, we can believe we can grow our total business by 1%. Those are big numbers on when you're the market leader in frozen food in Europe. The last topic I want to talk about, which becomes very emotional, is advertising. When the pandemic started, many brands, including Bird's Eye, wanted to respond. We felt that going dark wasn't appropriate. We felt that we wanted to either be helpful or be quiet, and we felt we wanted to be helpful. And we wanted to go out there with a message that was consistent with our brand. I wrote down words here. We've all seen the YouTube montage that mushes all these brands together. And I reckon every creative department was looking at empathy, support, and hope for the future as their brief. And we felt that wasn't enough. We wanted to genuinely help consumers. I'm not saying we got it right. Other people got it wrong, but I do think we from the response we got in terms of some awards and some PR and the response from consumers is we got the tonality right, but also we got the message right, which was we're here to help you. We're going to put a smile on your face, but primarily we're not here to sell you or pretend the world is going to suddenly be this wonderful place, but we are going to put a smile on your face because that's what brands who you trust should do. And so we developed the What's for Tea or the What's for Dinner campaign across Europe. So my provocation is, should you, go back to where you were before now? None of us back in March, April thought that this was still going to be around and we'd still be working from home and zooming in on some of these conferences, but we still are. So my question is, should we go back? Is old the new, or should we keep going on reflecting the mirror up to society and how the pandemic continues to play out? And this is for me where, as any good marketeer, creativity plays a role and intuition plays a role. But if I look at the data and the facts, I've got to look on the left-hand side. I've got to look at numbers. What do the numbers tell me? The numbers tell me, whether it was John Wanamaker 100 years ago, half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is I don't know which half. To Orlando Wood from System 1 telling us the same data. Over half of advertising in the UK doesn't do anything for market share. Should we move on? Should we try something new? My provocation is you'll know the data on your campaign. You'll know if you're winning consumers. You've got distinctive assets. You can shortcut the brain. You've probably got and hopefully got advertising, if it's still on air, that gets noticed, remembered, and understood. Why would you move on? And one of the dangers of moving on is you just want to move on because everybody else is moving on. Every time I turn on the TV, another brand is talking about the impact of the pandemic and how they're there to hope. They offer hope and empathy. And do you want to be the black sheep standing out from the white sheep? I would argue, potentially you do. And very simply, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. If you've got advertising that works and is winning, then keep it on air. It's going to be a darn sight more successful than trying to copy what other people are doing. People need reassurance in their lives. I want reassurance in my lives. And I want brands to tell me what they've always done and reassure me they'll continue to do what they've always done. So I would say stick. So there are my three questions to close. Go big or go close. That's the question on innovation. My provocation is retain your gains. It's not all about penetration. And old is the new. Then we all decide whether we stick or twist. And there are just three ideas on how you could emerge stronger, faster, from my perspective, from Nomad Foods and Bird's Eye.
Great. Well, thank you so very much, Steve. That was absolutely fascinating. And it was great that you were so candid about what the journey's been like for you over the last few months. I was really impressed by the fact that you talked about retention and also that you alluded to the fact that you've seen this massive behavioural change, in 3 months, you've seen 3 years. We've witnessed that also with the traction that social media has suddenly got. I mean, what are your views on, you talked about TV, you talked about keeping the spots on and going big or going close. Do you see social media playing more and more of a role in what you're doing in terms of communicating with your audiences?
Yeah, so we've seen a huge spike. So we've gone from kind of zero spend in digital and social media in 2014, 2015 to about a third of our media budget now. So there or thereabouts, kind of best in class. And we see that really spiking and continuing to spike. So what we're doing now is that gives us a real competitive advantage around the retention messaging. So a lot of that can be done on digital and social media. Right. So our TV can still do the long-term brand health, but our digital and social campaigns, on all the channels, can really drive hard that retention message, which is a lot more short-term and a lot more driven towards purchase. So it really matches into that retention message. That's where it plays a part.
And do you find that it poses particular challenges? Just in terms of the quantity of content, for example, that you're having to generate?
So we've adopted a new agency model where we've decoupled a lot of our production and our digital amplification, and so we're now set up to be able to do that for the first time, and that's been a real breakthrough for us. So we can classically do the toolbox, and then bang, the technology takes over. So in that sense, the technology has been a real game changer for us to be able to generate a lot more content with a lot less human input up front.
Got it. And but TV is still king and queen for you, yes?
It is, when you've got kind of 98% penetration and everybody buys frozen food and pretty much everybody's got a fridge freezer, you need to talk to everybody, and everybody still watches TV.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, on those final words about the utility of frozen food, we're going to move